Hey everybody, what's going on, man? Yeah, it's the Straight Goods, and it's your host, Sheldon Smith. And today I'm just going to talk about random stuff, man. I mean, look what's going on in the world today, man. There's so much craziness that is happening. So much stuff that is around us that, you know what, it's hard to believe that the masses don't see what's really going on. They don't see that, a lot of things that have happened in the past have brought us to where we are today. And you know what? It seems like we're heading in a direction that we will not be able to reverse whatsoever, man. Our society now has become so liberal in ideology, in thought, in practice that it's right in your face. It's so blatant that you just cannot avoid it. I mean, look at being politically correct. You have the bullying campaign that's been around for the past little while. I don't know, what would you say, 10, maybe 15 years, perhaps even longer than that, right? And the bullying campaign, I remember myself growing up as a kid. Yeah, you know what, we had bullies, but quite honestly, it was one of two things, man. You either learn to avoid them or you confront them and you let them know that you're not afraid of them, right? And it came to a point where they wouldn't really bother you anymore, right? And, growing up, not just myself, but even my brothers and, a lot of my friends, we all grew up in the same era and we weren't bullied at all, man. Bullying nowadays, they try and say that this stuff does exist in the school system and so forth. Maybe it does, I don't know. But I know I have 4 kids, all right? And nobody can tell me any differently because I know with my 4 kids, not one of them has experienced any sort of bullying or bullying of any type, nature, or form. They have not experienced it in the school. All right. What they have experienced is the bombardment of the new sex education program that is going on. And in addition to that, a new program that they're going to be putting forth with the quote unquote bullying campaign behind it to discuss lesbian, gay, transsexual, and so on relationships, right? And you know what? As a parent, I'm concerned about this stuff, okay? Number one, the sex ed, it's not appropriate for kids, I feel, at this level. Sure, there are many that will argue, well, if not now, then when or why not? At the same time, you also have to remember that kids need to have their innocence. You need to leave them with their innocence. And I know that there's a lot around us that is bombarding us every day that is eroding their innocence, that is stripping their innocence at younger and younger ages. But come on. Sex ed, when they're in grade 5, grade 6, it's not the sex ed that you and I grew up on, right? Teaching us about the reproductive system and contraception and so forth. This is different. I mean, they're teaching you about everything, man. Everything. I mean, it's to the point where, quite honestly, all they have to do really, if you want to teach sex ed nowadays, just slip in a few porno tapes and there you go. I mean, that's exactly what these kids are learning. I mean, there's a lot more than that. But I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it. And then now you have this whole bullying thing with the lesbian, gay, transsexual population. I know there's much more to that. There's like 33 or 34 different genre types within that area. And, I don't want to exclude all of them because I guess all of them are the same. But I mean, really, this is all to introduce legislation that is favorable towards that particular lifestyle, right? Now, here's my thing, and I'm just going to be straight up to you, and, it's called the Straight Goods for a reason, right? Me personally, being gay, it's a choice, okay? People want to say that you're born with it and whatever, but I'm still waiting for the concrete, definitive, scientific evidence stating that this is the case. By saying that it is scientific and that you're born with it is a cop-out, all right? It is a choice. It's a conscious decision, or it's a feeling, or whatever you want to call it. It's a choice, all right? Now, my whole thing is, see me, I'm not against gay people. If you're gay, I don't care. I mean, you live your life. You do what you got to do, right? At the same time, you know what? You and I, we bleed red, right? We live, we breathe. Our makeup is the same. Right? So I cannot hate you for being gay. All right. But being a gay person, I should say, sorry. But the notion of being gay, the notion of having sexual relationships with the same sex, for me, it's not biblical. All right, that's my stance on it, and I'm sure many people out there agree, and I'm sure many people out there disagree. And you're cool to disagree or agree. Do whatever you want to do. It's all cool. It's all good with me, right? But at the same time, especially for you liberals, all right, and for those that are part of the community, you could bash all you want. You could say all you want about what I'm saying right now. At the end of the day, it doesn't affect me, right? So this is it. What's going on in our schools, all right, with the kids nowadays? What's going on in society? What's going on in our music? I mean, it's all going down a certain path that we cannot reverse, like I mentioned earlier, all right? We are heading into a time where, a lot of this stuff has been prophesied in the Bible. I know many people are going to ask for specifics, this, that, and the other. Go ahead, all right? And especially for those non-believers, the atheists, okay? And, those that follow other quote-unquote religions, all right? You need to understand that at the end of the day, Christianity is about your relationship with Christ. It's not even about religion. It's not about the man-made rules and the man-made customs. It's not about any of that, all right? None of that whatsoever. Christianity is all about having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. That's what it's all about. Cut and dry. There's no BS to it. That's the straight goods, all right? Now, many people, especially in the Christian faith, do not understand this. Many people call them Christians, but they're not Christians. Many of them are just plain out hypocrites, straight up hypocrites, all right? These people will go to church on Sunday, all right, and they think they're holier than holy, and then from Monday to Saturday, they are the most sinful people you'll ever find on the planet, all right? I mean, me personally, you look at the different churches out there. Look at Catholicism, okay? Look at all the little babies of Catholicism, like the United Church, Presbyterian, Lutheran, and all that other stuff, all right? I don't care what you say. When you actually study your history, you're going to see that all of this has stemmed from, or most of it, I should say, has stemmed from Catholic rituals, the Catholic Church itself, and all of it is just plain out nonsense, all right? The Pope, come on now. You have the Pope. The Pope is the vicar. The Pope is our person that we speak to that intercedes for us with God. No, man, he's not. The Pope is just flesh and blood, just like you and me. That's all he is. He's nothing more. He's no more important in the eyes of God than you or me. No, not in any way, shape, or form. All right. And then you really do your history and you realize what's going on with the papacy. All right. This is just a continuation of the emperor lineage, all right, of the past. That's all it is. Read your Bible, man. Read your Bible, study up, and learn to see these things for what they really are. I mean, even in our own history, when we read back, going back to, let's say, 660 or 650 AD. And no, I'm not saying Common Era like a lot of people are saying right now, all this watered down PC crap. It's AD, all right? It's after the death of Christ, because our calendar is based on the life of Christ, all right? This is the reason why we are here today, in that we can have salvation through him. There's no other way to heaven but through Christ. None whatsoever. No other way to heaven but through Christ. Many people may think otherwise. Many people may say that there are multiple paths to get to heaven. If you're a good person and you've not done bad all your life, then you're going to go to heaven and so forth. No, man. If you do not establish a personal relationship with Jesus Christ yourself, you're not, and I repeat, not going to go to heaven. There is no way that you're going to go to heaven. And those that do not believe in Jesus Christ, that harbor the Antichrist spirit, are definitely not going to go to heaven. All right. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. All right. I know through faith, yes, I am a Christian, but am I a practicing Christian? I can admit and say, no, I'm not. I'm definitely not a practicing Christian. But do I understand, certain principles that are conveyed to us in the Bible? Of course I do. All right. And it's not about reading it in the literal sense and understanding it that way. You have to ask for interpretation. All right. You have to ask for revelations. All right. You have to pray and you have to ask for this stuff so that things are revealed to you. And when they are, you start to see things more clearly. All right. Now, going back to 650, 660, whatever, AD, this is when Muhammad was on the planet. This is when Islam had started. Okay. From that time until now, all right, there are many, many claims that Islam is the light, it's the way, and it's the only way to quote unquote Allah, all right, to get to heaven. A lot of things are happening nowadays in the world, okay, and a lot of terrible, horrible events are taking place. A lot of suicide bombings, terrorist activity, and so forth that is going on. I am not saying that this is Islam related, all right, or related to Muslims altogether, all right. I am of the firm belief that a lot of this stuff is doctored, okay, and that it's done in a way to make Muslims look bad, okay. Sure, there are people out there within the Muslim community that may have extreme views, okay. Some may act on it, but most do not. I mean, the same can be said with the Jewish faith, okay, with Judaism. You know, there are those that harbor extreme extreme thoughts, just like Christianity as well, all right? And I'm pretty sure in other religions, Hindu, Buddhism, and so forth, where people may not act it out, but they have those thoughts, man. And, you know, at the end of the day, this is it. It's a religious fight. It's a spiritual fight. I only say religious because I'm taking the man-made religions, okay, or the man-made aspects of the religions, which is what we use in today's society, all right? And this is what's at the fore, and this is what's being pushed in our face. But spirituality is where it all comes down to, and where it all matters, okay? And if you are not spiritual in the truest sense of the word and have that connection, then you're walking around aimlessly, okay? So this is my take on it. The media does a spin, and they create these, whatever you want to call them, these false events, okay? People call them false flags. No, I am not a conspiracy theorist. No, I am not wearing a tinfoil hat. I am a realist, and I like to tell it like it is, at least the way I see it. And I like to listen to what people need to say or have to say, because I invite criticism. I invite like-minded thoughts as well, because you know what? That's what conversation is all about. We don't have to agree on everything. We can agree to disagree, so long as we have a discussion that is civil, all right? So, getting on with that, these false flags, all right? They do exist. They do happen, all right? Some former CIA officials have actually said that, yes, this stuff is legit, that false flags do occur, and that they are created, all right, to bring about some sort of outcome, some eventual or gradual outcome. Sorry, I apologize. Some gradual outcome, okay? And, you know, a lot of us fall for this stuff, okay? And, you know, then the media wants to put the spin on it and say, okay, Islamic terrorist, this Islamic terrorist, that, yeah. And come on, man. Really? Are we serious about this stuff? That this is what's happening all the time? Here we are taking a big, fat-ass, broad brush, and we're painting the religion, all right, or Muslims, period. Not the religion, just Muslims, period. We're painting them in this bad light, all right? This very terrible light, you know? And again, see me, I am Christian, so I don't believe that what other religions have to say is, how can I put it, is right, okay? Straight goods is right, at least the way in which it pertains to my life, okay? And what I believe. However, I am of the strong belief that my fellow human being, my fellow man, my fellow woman, my fellow child, all right, we must all be treated equally, regardless of what we think, regardless of what we do, regardless of who we associate with. We should all be treated fairly, All right. So I firmly believe that this whole brushing of of Muslims all across the world is wrong. Okay. However, I think because of what the media is doing, this is prompting certain extremists, okay, to come out and start to put together attacks or do certain things that will destroy certain quote unquote sacred aspects of our society. But let me tell you something. Do you really think that the Muslim is destroying society, is tearing apart our values and so forth? Or is it liberalism? Straight up and down, it's liberalism hiding behind this cloak, pushing forth their agenda through this smokescreen being used being portrayed, I should say, through the media that is controlled. All right. Mainstream media is controlled. I mean, if you are not aware of this, or if you're too blind to see that mainstream media is in fact controlled, then you need to do a serious head shake. I mean, do it right now. I'm going to give you 2 seconds. Go ahead, shake your head. Shake it. There you go. All right. Now, the media is controlled. Okay. So they'll only give us a message that they want us to see. They'll give us their message. All right. There's a lot of information that we do not see on the news. A lot of events that occur all around the world that we do not see on the news. Doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. A lot of stuff does happen. What about the good stuff on TV, man? What about the good stuff on the news? How come nobody reports good stuff? How come I can't see stuff that'll make me smile, that warms up my heart? That makes me feel better about my day. Because my day is all about being bombarded with bad news, being bombarded with death, killing, corruption happening in whatever, government, police forces, businesses, whatever. Where's the good stuff, man? How come y'all don't report the good stuff? Where's the good news, man? We're missing all that stuff, man. And, being bombarded with all of this negative stuff every single day just further desensitizes us to a lot of things. I mean, look at the TV shows that we watch nowadays. There's a lot of trash in these TV shows, man. Every other show is all about crime and murder. Crime and murder. Why am I so interested in death? Why would I be so interested in death? Well, why would I be interested in watching people get their heads blown up or their heads chopped off or, run over by a car or somebody mischievously plants evidence and, takes them in, gets them arrested, and then eventually witnesses get killed? And come on now, really? Where is the originality in today's society? How come it's all about death and, all this bullcrap that happens? And then on the flip side, you have families. Okay, I'm not going to say their names, but you have families that come on and all they do is just glorify their life, their materialism, and all of this stuff, man. And don't get me wrong. See, I do not, how can I put it? I don't hate on people, all right, for lack of a better expression or term. I don't hate on people that become successful or are much more successful than I am. Okay, to me, to each his or her own. If you're doing well and things are coming your way and you've done it legitimately, then all the best to you. Just continue to be blessed. However, what I don't get, though, is that when you have people that want to flaunt their crap and then they want to show you how materialistic they are. I mean, I don't care about your cars. I don't care about your houses. I don't care about all of this stuff. Because at the end of the day, none of that stuff's important. When you die, when you pass, when you're buried in your coffin, because all of us are going to go that route one day. We're all going to be 6 feet on the other side of the grass. All right? You can't take none of that stuff with you, man. It ain't going with you anywhere. What you going to do? Get a whole big plot and bury your house with you? Bury your cars and everything else with you? I know that some idiots have done that in the past, buried themselves in their Corvettes or whatever. And quite honestly, man, really? Seriously. I mean, who's going to do that? Who? And, at the end of the day, you got to realize what your priorities are. People, human beings have to realize what it's all about, what life's all about. Life's all about this. It's all about, number one, God first. God first. All right. Number two, it's all about family. All right. So God, then family, and then number 3, at least all of this stuff is my personal opinion. Y'all can debate it all you want. You're not going to change my mind. This is me, all right? And third is relationships, okay? Relationships. Your relationship with God, your relationship with your family members, all right? Your relationship with your friends, okay? This is the stuff that nurtures the heart. This is the stuff that satisfies the soul. This is the stuff that is really, really important. That at the end of the day, if I'm lying on my deathbed, all right, this is the stuff that I'm going to take with me. This is the stuff that will be with me in my soul, okay? Not the materialistic bullcrap, all the tangible stuff that I can touch and whatever, all right? Don't get me wrong. Hey, you know, if you give me a Ferrari to drive for a day, I'm going to drive a Ferrari. I ain't going to lie. I will drive it. I'm not going to buy it, though. I know that because I'm not spending $200,000, $300,000 on a car. On a depreciating asset. Just so what? So people can turn their heads and stare at my car or admire my car? No way. No way. That doesn't say anything about my substance. Doesn't say anything about my character. Other than the fact that I'm just a needy, wanting ass. Okay? Or I'm just a rich prick that, yes, I said it, a rich prick that just wants to show off. And trust me, man, where I'm from, we got a lot of those dudes in our area that try and live their life a certain way just to impress everybody within their community. So, getting back to it, God first, family second, relationships third, and the relationships encompass yours with God, yours with your family, yours with your friends. All right, these are the ones that you have to nourish. These are the ones that you have to maintain, you have to take care of, you have to strengthen. All right, and understand that at the end of the day, who's going to be around you, man? When going gets rough, who's around you? Your Ferrari ain't around you. Your big house ain't around you. All right? Your enemies ain't around you. Who's with you? God is with you at all times. Who's with you? Your family is with you at all times. And your 1 or 2 closest friends, the thick and thin, the ride or die, those ones are with you. Not the fair weather ones, you know, that like you because of this or like you because of that or whatever, those spineless little asses, all right? But the true blue friends, those ones that are with you no matter what. Those are the relationships that you got to take care of. Those are the relationships you got to nourish. All right, now, getting back to this whole liberalist agenda and the push forward to, you know, do certain things within society. You know, there's a lot of talk about going to cashless society, which eventually is going to happen. Y'all can't avoid it. It's going to happen. I don't care what anybody says. This is what the banks want. This is what they're going to do. We are going to go cashless. When we go cashless now, what do you think they have to do? They need to put in measures to control all of this stuff, right? The government needs to put in measures to control all of this stuff, right? So we have all these different types of ID. You know, you have your government ID, your driver's license, your health card, and, you know, all this other stuff. Then you have your banking information and you have everything else. All of that stuff is going to tie in together. Again, I am not a conspiracy theorist. I'd rather use my tinfoil to cover my food, all right? When I'm trying to cook it or when I'm trying to save it in the fridge or something. That's what my tinfoil is used for. But getting back to this whole thing of reality, it's going to happen. It's unavoidable that eventually we are going to have a chip. We're going to have a microchip. We're going to have a tattoo. Whatever the case may be, it's going to be on us. Maybe not in our lifetimes, but I will 100% guarantee that something like that is going to happen. I mean, you can watch all the YouTube videos, you know, talking about this, talking about that. You know, the mark of the beast is here and yada, yada, yada. I mean, come on now. At the end of the day, let's look at what's happening in the world today. Yes, things are leading up to a finality, a final finality. Yeah. Leading up to a finale. There we go. And, you know, it's going to be ugly, man. It's going to be really, really ugly. At the end of the day, people that are in power, what is it that they want the most? They want control. And if you can control the masses, you can control everything else. All right? In the United States, the big thing is all about gun control, right? The Second Amendment and the right to bear arms. And, I applaud the people that actually take that up. There are many, many, many gun owners. Apparently, statistics state that there are 3 guns for every person in the United States. If that is true, all right, then you're looking at, well over 1 billion guns, because the population in the United States is about 350 to, I'd probably say maybe more than that now. Maybe I'll give them like 370,000 or 370 million people, all right? That's a lot of guns, man. A lot of guns. Of course, the question now is, are many of those guns, can they be used? Can they not be used? What I mean is like, are they old and, dilapidated and just, sitting in museums and crap? Or are they guns that people are hiding away in their cabinets and stuff like that? Anyhow, I'm not talking about gun control and all that in that depth. What I mean is this, is that eventually these guns are going to be taken out of your hands. They will be taken out of people's hands. Of course, you can say, like what Charlton Heston said, in his famous NRA speech, something to do with or you'll have to take it from my cold, dead hands. I don't know the quote exactly, and if I misquoted, which I'm sure I did, I do apologize for those that may get offended, all right? But control will happen, man. It will. I mean, you have these books, you have like 1984, George Orwell's 1984. If you think that crap ain't going to happen here, if you think that stuff is not coming to North America, then you need to shake your head. Go ahead. I'm going to give you 2 seconds. Shake it. Shake it, baby. Shake your head. There you go. All right, now I hope that you came back to your senses. Control is coming, man. Guns are going to be taken away. All right? I don't know how. I don't know what the scheme is that they're going to run to get this stuff out of people's hands. But, hey, the way I see it, some kind of law or laws might be passed where it then becomes illegal. All right? Some kind of law that circumvents, all right? Circumvents the Second Amendment. All right? Some little tricky legal loophole thingy. All right? To make people realize that, hey, it's illegal to own guns, registered or not. And, of course, those that do not comply, where do you think they're going to end up, right? They're going to end up in jail or whatever the case may be. And I got another question, too. Again, I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat, but please believe that FEMA camps are out there. The question now is, why are they out there? Why are there so many FEMA camps out there? Why do they exist? Why are they empty? In the event of emergency, you see what happened in Louisiana with that flooding, and so many people were removed from their homes. I don't mean removed like, taken away or whatever, but they couldn't go back to their homes because the flooding was so great. Okay. Another state of emergency. Were those FEMA camps used down there? I don't know. I mean, I didn't really follow the story. I mean, maybe somebody that's listening knows, because I really don't know. But if this is the case, were FEMA camps used? Because I know that they have FEMA camps down there. Were they used, man? Were people sent to these camps to, lodge and chill until the water subsides and they can go back to their homes? I really don't know. But, again, this is a rant, and I know I'm jumping from subject to subject to subject, but whatever. It's just a rant, man. And, things are going to happen, and unfortunately, we are going down a road that we're not going to be able to turn back, right? And we've been down this road for quite a long time. A lot of things have happened, again, like I mentioned before, that have brought us to this point. And there is no turning back. I mean, we can hope for better days and brighter days and a sunny tomorrow and world peace, but it's not going to happen. So long as there are differences in society, even right down to your basic skin color, so long as these differences exist, we as human beings will always look for reasons to dislike our fellow man, our fellow woman, our fellow child. We'll always do that, all right? And I just use skin color as an example. It could be religion. It could be anything, okay? And so long as these differences exist, again, we will continue to hate each other. We will continue to dislike each other, all right? Which, for me, is wrong, all right? I'm sure many people that are listening agree. Maybe there are some out there that don't agree. But you know what? To each his or her own. That's your choice. You're quote unquote free to think what you want to think. All right. Speaking of freedom, what about freedom of speech, man? Where is freedom of speech going? What are we doing? What's happening to our freedom of speech? I mean, nowadays in this liberal push, this liberal sway, all right, this liberal ideological society, we can't say certain things. I mean, you can say it. You have the right to say it, but you are going to be condemned for saying it. All right. You're going to be something phobic, all right, or whatever. Right. And it's ridiculous, man. You got to be able to say what you want to say. Right. Say what you want to say. Me, I have a lot more respect for the person that looks me dead in the eye, and tells me what they think. All right. Dead in the eye and tells me what they think, whether it be about me, my family, whatever. Go ahead and say it, rather than the one that's pretending, the one that hides it, and the stuff doesn't really surface until something major hits the fan. Right. But I mean, yeah, you knew it all along that this person was a bastard. Right. But it takes a certain situation for them to actually, reveal their true colors. Whereas the person that's straight up and honest and just says what they got to say, the one that doesn't hide behind their keyboard, all right, typing these messages thinking that, oh, yeah, a lot of people are going to read my message and think I'm a badass. Get the hell out of here, man. Get out of here. I mean, it's the guy that's straight up, the woman that's straight up and just tells me, even I might not even agree with what you got to say. And I'm pretty sure I wouldn't. But I have to respect the fact that you said what you said and how you said what you said. I mean, anything short of threatening my life and my family's life, I can listen to. I can take. All right? I can engage in the discussion. I don't have to get heated. The argument doesn't have to get heated. You can call me this. You can call me that. Whatever you want to call me. You may not like me. You might hate me. But I respect the person that will actually sit and talk with me. And we can talk about our views. All right. Freedom of speech is it's eroding so fast that, I mean, where can you go in today's society without saying something that you're going to be condemned for? Right. You have to watch what you say. I mean, saying Merry Christmas to certain people nowadays is going to get you in trouble. Merry Christmas is going to get you in trouble. Get you in trouble, man, with some people. And I look at it like this, straight up, okay? Look, Canada, the United States, we are built on the foundations of God, okay? If I can say that, if that makes any sense. Y'all know what I'm saying, man, okay? And if you want to come over to my country now, okay, and you want to impose your will and your ways, man, that ain't happening. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to respect you for who you are. I'm going to respect you for the fact that you have a belief system and that you follow your belief system. And I'm going to leave you be. All right. Just as you should also leave me be. Right. I'm not going to impose my thoughts, my ways and things of that nature on you, just as I wouldn't expect you to do it to me. But in the same breath, I know that when you come here, you're not going to change certain things. All right. Certain things ain't going to happen. Right? Certain things are going to remain the way they are because when you came here, they were. Now that you're here, they are. And if you plan to continue to stay here, they always will be. All right? So you need to get that in your head and understand that, yes, some change is good, but not all change is worth pursuing. Right? Some things you just got to leave it alone because you came into the situation. You got to adapt to the situation. You got to live with the situation. I know some people want to run up on the Constitution and human rights and this and that and the other. And yeah, it exists for all. And we all have freedom of this, freedom of that, whatever. So they say, of course, or so the documents say. But let's get real. I can't take my ass over to a country over in the Middle East, all right, or certain other countries, all right, in Asia, and impose my will, impose my ideologies, or even as a group with more and more of us emigrating over there, impose our way of life and our lifestyle. I can't do that because something's going to happen to me. They're going to tell me no. They're going to kick me out of the country, or something bad's going to happen to me, right? Come on now. If I can't do it there, you definitely shouldn't be able to do it here. All right? And again, this is a rant. I'm telling you how I feel. You might agree with me, great. If you don't agree with me, great. At the end of the day, you know where I'm coming from, and I'm letting you know because it's all about the straight goods, baby. That's what it's all about. So, I think I'm going to leave my rant right here for now. I know it went all over the place, and, leave your comments, man. Leave them below. I want to hear what people have to say. This even goes for you keyboard cowards, man. Come on, big up your chest for once in your life and be brave, man, and say something. If you got something to say, make a video about it. Retort this, okay? Make a podcast about it. Retort this, okay? Don't just leave a stinking comment. If you really, really disagree and you want to be hateful about it, say something, man. And I will definitely listen to what you got to say, all right? I'm not saying that, people that agree with me, I'm going to, look at their comments and leave them up there and I'll delete yours. No. That's not, I don't do that kind of stuff, right? I'm a new dude, all right? As you can see, look at my subscribers, right? I'm a new dude, okay? But in the same breath, you know what? Don't be hateful. I mean, express your opinions, give me a thoughtful answer, okay? Whether you agree or not on a lot of what I've said today, and we can talk, man. I'll probably even make a video on one or two comments that have been said, right? Because it only makes sense. We have to engage in dialogue about all these sensitive topics, right? And we need to be open with one another in order for us to actually live with one another peacefully, right? So, I thank y'all so much for listening. I appreciate the fact that you listened. And if you listened to this point so far, thank you so much. All right? Have yourself a great day. And, I'm wishing all y'all continued blessings and peace. And take care, y'all.